Hello and welcome to the Ruby Shoes podcast, delivering the very best local entertainment news across East Anglia. This week we've been to review Theatre in the Forest, Hamlet by Red Rose Chain Theatre Company. We find out about a brand new exhibit at a local museum. And we hear all about a traditional village fete taking place this weekend. Plus, as always, a roundup of some of the region's theatre shows you won't want to miss. We begin this week with a review from our roving theatre reviewer Harrison, who's also a presenter for Suffolk Sound Radio. Harrison went along to see the opening night of Hamlet by Red Rose Chain Theatre Company to enjoy Shakespeare under the stars.
Hello, listeners of the Ruby Shoes podcast. It's me, Harrison Shorten here. To rain or not to rain? That was definitely the question as I sat down at the Sutton Hoo outdoor theatre, ready for a production of Hamlet by the Red Rose Chain. I was a bit worried, as I said, about the weather. Luckily, the actors are sort of mingling amongst the crowd before the performance begins, handing me, of course, a little temporary poncho, which I was very, very grateful for. Luckily, the weather did stay sort of overcast. There wasn't too much rain, which meant that I got to thoroughly enjoy the performance that they all put on. It was absolutely outstanding. A real testament to Shakespeare. As someone that sort of studied Shakespeare, know how it used to be performed, obviously, back in the day, and I've seen a few performances at the Globe as well. I think we are very, very lucky in Suffolk to have a company such as Red Rose Chain, who they really do their best, and they are really fantastic at what they do. Just the way that they all get the crowd involved, the use of, I would say, such a simple set, and just the way that it all comes together is absolutely fantastic. One major thing I have to point out as well, the puppetry. I won't give too much away because it comes out fairly early on in the performance, but some absolutely stupendous puppetry that has been designed. The name forgives me, I'm sure Steph will find out and put that in for me, but the absolutely incredible performances all round. A really nice, easy play. It runs for about 2 hours, I can't remember off the top of my head now. I'm forgetting so much. But anyway, it was an unforgettable performance in terms of the actual, the acting was stupendous. The name forgets me. The main actor, the gentleman that played Hamlet, was really good. Obviously, the to be or not to be speech was performed with brevity. It was very, very good. The range of emotion there was fantastic. A few new cast members that I noticed. The lady that played Ophelia was brilliant. Sort of the way that she went from being very quaint, very gentle in the beginning of the play, showing that little descent of madness. That scene was fantastic. She was really good there. As well, yeah, Claudius, all the multi-rolling that I saw. There's so much to go. I think this might be my longest review for Ruby Shoes ever, because there was just so much to talk about. So I'll wrap up by saying I believe it is running until the 23rd of August. Forgive me if I've gotten that wrong. Again, I'm sure Steph will correct me. But if you haven't been to see it yet, if you haven't got your tickets, I would thoroughly recommend you do so. This has been Harrison Shorten for the Ruby Shoes podcast. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Harrison. Your memory for names is worse than mine. Apologies to actor Vincent Moisey, who played Hamlet, and also Matt Penson, who played Claudius and Ghost too, of course. We did chat to the whole cast ahead of this run, which is on until Saturday the 23rd of August. You did get that bit right, Harrison. Well done. If you'd like to get a ticket to go to the box office, it's 01473 603 388, or just jump onto their website, redrosechain.com. And if you'd like to listen back to the Ruby Shoes interview with the cast, it's episode 84. You can find it via our Facebook page, or just go onto YouTube and search for Ruby Shoes Podcast. Next, we've been to a museum to find out about a brand new exhibition you just might want to check out. You might just be able to hear the Felixstowe cranes in the background, because I'm right by viewing point. I'm at Felixstowe Museum, the Museum for Felixstowe, it says, to find out all about a new exhibition they've got happening. So let's go in, meet Tom Parker, who's going to show me around, find out what it's all about.
Hello.
Hello, Tom. Nice to meet you, Tom.
Nice to meet you.
McIntyre.
Brilliant. So,
lead the way.
yeah, I've certainly never done a radio interview before.
Oh, you're fine. You won't even know we're doing a radio interview, trust me. We'll just chat about it,
So
that's
this
all.
is Claire's exhibition.
And tell me how Claire is connected to Felixstowe Museum, how that came about.
Claire is an artist who lives in Colchester, but that's just on the border really with Suffolk, so she's been connected with Suffolk for a long time. This is her practice. She specialises in textiles. She even does 3D knitted sculptures, which is quite fantastic. But she was Suffolk Library's first ever environmentalist in residence in 2024. And I think that's one thing that got her really involved in Suffolk. These pieces in particular came about because she was doing a lot of work in London and used to see all of the containers going past, through Stratford and then coming up the line to Felixstowe. And then through visiting Felixstowe, she kind of connected it all up, and it was sparking questions in her mind all about, what's in these containers, how does it interact with, the textile and fashion industry. A lot of her work focuses on sustainability and waste within the textile industry. And she was inspired to do these images, which I think are quite lovely, really.
And this is so clever because it looks like you've got kind of like three sides of a container, bright yellow, and then attached to that you've got her actual artwork all in frames. So it's beautifully laid out. I like Mr. Seagull sitting up there as well in the corner. Was this installation already there and she added her artwork to it, or has she done the whole thing herself?
So she came in and approached us about displaying her artworks. It was quite simple and I loved the look of them, and I thought with Felixstowe Port right next door it made total sense to do it. But then we were wondering, and I was thinking in conversation with her, we could make more of this really, because Claire's a fantastic resource, incredibly talented. She does a lot of outreach and workshops. I'd seen a grant from Museum Development South East all about sustainability, green issues, and I decided to go for that, to run workshops alongside displaying them. And then we thought, why don't we make it bigger again and make more of the exhibition side rather than just putting them on the wall. Why don't we ask for a little bit more? Her husband is an exhibition builder, which is quite handy. We grant funded for the whole lot, and they built this. It is not containers, it's made of wood, and this is some kind of roofing material.
That's brilliant, because it literally looks like you've used three sides of a container. It's very believable.
Yes.
And then on the side here, you've got kind of like almost like mini T-shirts with messages on them. Where have these come from? Is this all part of the same thing?
Yes, so this is all the same. She's obviously made these. Even little things like this, she's just so creative. Obviously recycled textiles themselves, but they are pledges.
They've all got messages like reuse, reduce,
these are done
waste,
by people
recycle me.
Yeah, these are done by people who've seen the exhibition and have been inspired, and they are encouraged to write a pledge, something they'll do in their own life to.
And I love that because they're all hung on like a little mini washing line with mini pegs, and there's even little T-shirts in the bottom here that you can pick up and put your own messages on. So it's very interactive, isn't it? And it's great for children. I always think with these museum things, it's great for all ages, but when you get the children involved, and it's such an important message about sustainability and things, to get the children involved at such an early level, that's really clever.
And we want going forwards, a lot more things for children at the museum. A lot of grandparents come down here with their grandchildren. It's about saying we're not just. People have thought in the past we're a military museum. Well, we're a lot more than a military museum. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a resident Felixstowe, and whenever I come, it's always different. I love the whole, 80s display that you've had, because that was my era.
Yes,
and looking through that, I think, gosh, this looks like my bedroom, basically, when I was about, 14.
We've updated. Don't be too sad. We've got a whole new exhibition in that space now, which is all about Felixstowe as a seaside resort. So
Lovely.
It's got some of the,
that's what I mean. It's
the nostalgic
changing.
Elements still, yeah.
As we stand here, we're right next to the St Audrey's room, and of course I remember that. You've got local history room, you've got old shops, old signs, the whole place. It is really, really interesting. You can definitely spend a couple of hours here quite happily, and then of course you've got your lovely cafe to sit in the end.
Absolutely. You can come down, get some lovely cakes. We've updated our cafe cake offering for this season. You can go and sit outside and look at the ships.
Yeah, it's all perfect. And then Tom, finally, tell me about your role here at the museum, because we've not spoken before, so just tell us a bit about you.
So I started about a year ago. I am the Deputy Manager and Collections Officer, because we now work quite closely under what we call the Landguard Trust, which is a charity responsible for coordinating and talking to all the different charities that are down on the port. That's us, Landguard Fort and the Nature Reserve, but my role is part of that. Our General Manager is based at Landguard Fort, and he looks after and looks over both, but it means I can be employed 5 days a week. Everyone else at the museum is volunteers. We've got about 45 active volunteers, and we couldn't do it without them. But it means our volunteers can focus on, the really, really important bits like welcoming visitors or helping with our collections audit and conservation and things like that. And I might be able to take away a little bit of the paperwork. But yeah, we're totally
I think you're being very modest there. I'm sure you do lots more than just paperwork. It's been lovely to talk to you today.
And
you've painted a wonderful picture, and I'm sure lots of people are going to want to see Claire Sam's new exhibit here at Felix Jones Museum.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for coming.
Finally for this week, Linstead Village Fete is a traditional Suffolk fete which has been running for over 50 years. Earlier I spoke to Janet from the village, and I began by asking just how long she'd lived in Linstead.
Well, we've lived here for 47 years, and the fete has been running all those 47 years. Very interestingly, someone found an old poster. It obviously was pre-decimalisation, advertising the fete, and because everything was in shillings and pence, and so that it's been running for at least since 71, and asking people. Some people thought it had started in the 1950s, 60s, something like that.
Which is incredible, isn't it? And this is a traditional village fete, and it's happening in Linstead on Saturday the 2nd of August. So tell me about some of the traditional things that will be there that people can come along and enjoy.
Well, it's a combination of stalls. We have a cake stall, which is always very, very popular. I think we're quite well renowned for our cakes, and people come and stock up. So we have a very good cake stall. The WI have a stall selling plants and produce, and we have raffles, and we have various games as well, such as Splat the Rat, Hoopla, 10-pin bowling, and we do teas as well.
Oh, which is lovely. So we need some good weather for Saturday the 2nd, and I think
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, and it doesn't matter because it's a traditional English fete, so you can cope with all weathers anyway. I'm glad you've got the rat. I remember that from a child going to village fetes, and that used to be one of my favourite stalls. I was no good at it, but I used to like having a go at that. And what do you actually have to physically get involved still, Janet? Are you on one of the stalls, or are you able to just take a step back now and let other people actually run the stalls and things?
Well, I usually help on the cake stall, and if we're short of people, I think we've sort of gone through all the stalls and the games and that, and I think we've found someone to man or woman each of the things. So hopefully I'll stick with my cakes, and also we have guess weight of the cakes, and I've made the cake for that, so I know the weight, but no one else does.
Oh, well done. Is that a rich fruit cake by any chance?
It is, yes. I know someone who won it kept it for their Christmas cake.
Oh, how lovely.
So it was well and truly matured by then, I think.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Clearly you're a very good baker as well as an organiser of the village fete. Do you have a particular favourite cake that you make?
Well, a very popular one seems to be carrot cake.
Oh, And what sort of frosting do you make for it? Is it nice sort of creamy frosting?
Yes, a butter icing with sort of butter, vanilla, icing sugar. And I've just found some cute little mini carrots that I can now decorate it with. So they're going to be introduced this year at the fete.
Oh, I love that. And whenever you watch these sort of like Sunday afternoon murder mysteries, there's always a village fete going on, isn't there? I'm not suggesting you're going to have a murder mystery.
We're not St Mary's Mead like Miss Marple's village.
Exactly. Is the local vicar going to be part of the village fete as well, do you think?
I'm not sure. We're part of a large team, actually. There are about 14 churches in the team, and there's always something going on somewhere. So if he visits, it would be great. But I'm not sure whether Linstead is on his list.
Exactly. Now, if people don't know where Linstead is, it is in Suffolk. So explain the easiest way to find Linstead village.
Well, it's situated on the B1123, which the road joins Halesworth to Halston and goes through Metfield. So it's not really too difficult if you come off the A12 and go into Halesworth. And it's quite well signposted, and there are quite a few posters around as well, which hopefully will lead people on the way.
Wonderful. And then what time does it all start on Saturday the 2nd of August?
2:00.
Well, Janet, it's been lovely talking to you, and it sounds a wonderful thing. I do love a traditional village fete. I think there's nothing better at all, and I'm sure the sun will shine on you all, and it'll be wonderful. So everybody's welcome. It's Linstead Village Fete. As I say, it's Saturday the 2nd of August, and it all starts from 2:00. And I wish you all the best. I know these things take about a year in the planning, so there's a lot of effort goes into it. So it's always nice to get the support, isn't it?
Yeah, so thank you very much, and look forward to seeing everyone there.
We're taking a week off now from the Ruby Shoes podcast, but we'll be back with you again from Monday the 11th of August with news of a massive classic car and sports car show, plus a big family-friendly festival, which is free to attend. More on that once we're back.
What's on across Suffolk with Stephanie McIntyre, sponsored by Ruby Shoes Podcast, your weekly entertainment news podcast, available from your smart speaker, Apple, Spotify, or you just follow Ruby Shoes Podcast on Facebook and click on the weekly podcast link to listen.
There's a host of great shows on offer across Suffolk's magnificent theatres, and here's just a selection to tempt you. Monday the 28th of July through to Saturday the 9th of August, it's the original psychological thriller Gaslight, written by Patrick Hamilton and performed by the cast of the Southwold and Aldborough Summer Theatre. Set in dark and dangerous foggy London before electric lighting, it features a husband trying to drive his already mentally fragile wife insane. But the plot reveals an even more terrifying murder mystery. Catch this performance at Aldborough Jubilee Hall. If you miss it, you can see it in Southwold from the 13th to the 16th of August. For details of this, and indeed all of the Southwold and Aldborough Summer Theatre shows, go to act.co.uk. Suffolk's biggest and best-loved outdoor theatre event, Theatre in the Forest, has returned to the National Trust Sutton Hoo with a spectacular production of William Shakespeare's Hamlet. This is Hamlet as you've never seen it before, however, with a huge, spooky puppet ghost. This heartbreaking story is coupled expertly with hilarious comedy and promises to be another fantastic night of theatre under the stars. Currently being performed by the Red Rose Chain Theatre Company, and it's running at Sutton Hoo until Saturday the 23rd of August. For tickets, call 01473 603 388 or go to redrosechain.com. More outdoor theatre can be enjoyed further up the A12 at Thorrington Amphitheatre with Salt on Friday the 1st of August. Imagine the East Coast in 1770. Billy, a pious young fisherman, lives with his domineering mother, Widow Pruttock. Two things govern their life, the herring harvest and devotion to God. In this cold and isolated life comes Sheldis, a singer with supernatural gifts. As Billy's obsession with her grows, his mother, believing him bewitched, will do anything to break the spell. Filled with sea shanties, dances, hymns and folk songs, Salt is a visceral tale of faith, jealousy and demonic passion. To find out about this and all of the outdoor theatre performances this summer, go to thorringtontheatre.co.uk. From Monday the 4th of August, young performers aged 8 to 18 can take part in an exciting week-long series of workshops designed to develop their musical theatre skills. Running daily from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m, these workshops are hosted by Enchanted Entertainment, the producers behind the Regent Theatre's Christmas and Easter pantomimes. You'll explore singing, acting and dancing, performance techniques, as well as learn the fundamentals of stagecraft. At the end of the week, children put on all their hard work into performance on the stage in front of a live audience on Saturday the 9th of August. Tickets are extremely limited for this very popular series of workshops, but to find out more, go to ipswichtheatres.co.uk. And finally, on Saturday the 2nd of August, it's Marshall King's showtime at the Spa Pavilion Theatre in Felixstowe. Performing his brand new show and showcasing an incredible vocal range, Marshall will transport you to a night at the West End Theatre, taking you all the way from the powerful emotion of Les Miserables to the upbeat hits of We Will Rock You. Marshall plays tribute to some of the best musicals around, sharing his passion for the songs with his trademark style and humour. For tickets for those aged 16 plus and over, go to spapavilion.uk. And don't forget, you can always get in touch with us via our Facebook page. We're at Ruby Shoes Podcast. We always love to hear about your forthcoming plays, comedy nights, your Amdram groups, or any kind of show, festival or event in East Anglia, and we can let everybody else know about it too. You can listen again to the Ruby Shoes podcast via Apple, Spotify, or your favourite podcast host, and you can find our podcast links on our Facebook page and follow us there too, of course. And you can also listen to Ruby Shoes now every week on YouTube. Yeah, just type in Ruby Shoes podcast and there will be, and you can see all our past episodes as well. Make sure you have a great week. I'm Steph McIntyre, and we really appreciate you listening to the Ruby Shoes podcast, celebrating all the brilliant things we have when it comes to live theatre and entertainment.